One of the things that we really talk about is isolation and what that means with seniors and the health effects of isolation. It really exacerbates everything, whether it's high blood pressure or diabetes, whatever you have, the isolation makes it completely worse. And we've seen a study where senior isolation is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day from a health standpoint. So that is, just that interaction itself, just the, hey, how are you doing today? What can we do for you type of thing really has made a big difference in seniors' lives.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Grow Healthy, Help People podcast, a podcast that Accordis puts on. Today, we are here with Doug from Fort Bend Seniors Meals on Wheels. How are you today?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So tell everybody where you're calling from.
So I am actually in Rosenberg, Texas, and that is southwest of Houston. So we're out in Fort Bend County, and we cover Fort Bend County and Waller County as far as our services go.
Okay, wonderful. Well, before we really get into all the amazing things that you guys are doing over there, tell me a little bit about kind of your path to becoming a nonprofit leader. Have you
Sure.
always been involved in nonprofits, or is this newer for you? What does that look like?
So, Brandy, it's probably an unusual story, but my original background is in the finance world. So I was a stockbroker for Charles Schwab for many years, managed several branches here in the Houston area. And it was in early 2000s, my wife and I decided that we needed a baby girl. So we decided to adopt from Guatemala. And it was really on those trips back and forth during that process that we saw the plight of children, especially in developing countries, and really tugged at our hearts. And we didn't know then, but it was planting a seed that we need to do something. So my wife is a teacher, and it was a couple of years later, we decided to sell everything, quit our jobs, and move to the Philippines to start working with homeless children and families as well. So it's kind of an unusual route. And I always thought, when I was doing that in the Philippines, that I would come back to the States at some point and, get back into the whole finance area. But what happened was when you're that involved and you're that close to what you're doing and helping people, or at least for me, it really did change the way I viewed things and the way I felt about the world as a whole. So I came back and I really couldn't reconcile that, getting back into the finance world. It was, my heart was always, with nonprofits. So that's kind of where I got to start. Came back to the States, went to a couple of different nonprofits, and here I am with Meals on Wheels. So it's probably a little unusual, but I will say, once you get the taste for nonprofits, it's hard to not continue doing that. It is.
Yes, I love that story, and it's so true. People who aren't really involved in the nonprofit space, you can look at it from the outside and just really think, oh, they're doing such good work. I'm so glad they're doing that. But man, when you're in it and you're seeing all the things that are happening around
Right.
you and the difference that nonprofits are making, it like you said, it would be extremely challenging to leave that world. And
Right.
so, yeah, completely agree with
Yeah.
that. So tell us about Fort Bend Seniors Meals on Wheels. What do you guys do? How do you operate? What do your programs look like? Tell us more about it.
Sure. So our mission, if you just look at our mission statement, it says that we nurture seniors with nutritious meals and human connection. And that, in a nutshell, that's what we do. So the biggest part of that is the Meals on Wheels program. And we've been doing this since the mid-'70s, so over 50 years of working with seniors here in this area. And really, we're doing the meal delivery to homebound seniors, but we also have 6 senior centers that we do throughout our area as well. So for the seniors that can get out, maybe ride a bus to our senior center to take in activities, we certainly have that as well. And we'll do probably 1,100 meals a day between the two programs. And we also have transportation programs as well for seniors who may not be able to get to the senior center. So we help with that as well. So our biggest program would be the Meals on Wheels and our senior centers. And last year we did 370,000 meals, I think, total.
Wow.
So it's a lot. It's a lot, and that's every day. So Monday through Friday, we're out there delivering hot meals to seniors. So it's great. It's very rewarding, and I love love what I do.
That's incredible. So, do you guys have like a facility where you're make cooking all of these meals? Like, do you have just this huge kitchen and volunteers that are making these meals every day?
So what we do, there are a lot of programs that do that, but what we do is we have a vendor that every morning brings in about, all of the meals that we'll serve that day. So every morning we
Awesome.
have all those hot meals come in, and then we'll distribute internally to our senior centers. And I have about 12 part-time drivers that we utilize, but we have over 60 routes every day for our homebound. So the
Yeah.
bulk of that is with volunteers. So they'll come in every morning, load up their cars, and then head out and do their routes and serve our seniors. So it's quite the undertaking. And I know, we're always looking for seniors. That's the biggest part of how we can do what we do. So we're excited about that, and we hope to keep growing this year.
That's incredible. So when we've talked before, you kind of touched on some different instances where, the volunteers that you have that are going around, they are quite literally the only people that these seniors are seeing sometimes. And so tell us about, a time or so where that has been very beneficial, where it's saved a life, where
Sure.
what people don't normally think about, they just think you're delivering meals, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it may sound a little corny, but it really is more than a meal. So the food's important, but I think that human connection is even more important. Just to give you a great example, earlier this year, one of our volunteer drivers, Matt, was going to do his route. And when you're doing a route, you get to know your seniors. So you know them because you see them every week. You're delivering every Tuesday or every Wednesday or whatever it is. And he walked into his client's house, and he immediately knew something was wrong just by looking at her, because he sees her every week, and he's like, "Ma'am, I think something is wrong. You don't look good. We need to call 911." And she said, "No, I'll be okay." But he insisted, and he ended up calling 911 on her behalf. And they came here, and they picked her up, took her to the hospital. And then we later found out the next day that if he hadn't done that, she may not have survived for the next 24 hours. So that's not an unusual story that we hear. That's maybe a little extreme, but we may come upon a senior that's fallen and is just in the floor and they can't do anything. So, or if something's wrong and we knock on the door and they're supposed to be there but they don't answer, then we can call their family, we can call their friends and see, hey, is Mrs. Jones supposed to be home, or is she out today? So it really is more than just that. And like you said, even the connection, just knowing that someone's going to come by every day and deliver you a meal it's impactful, especially when that may be the only human that you interact with all day long.
Right, especially for those seniors who their families live out of state or aren't close to them, and they're not in a senior center where they have other
Right.
connections. I mean, it's so important, so
It
incredible
is.
that you
It
guys are able
is.
to do that. And so I just
Yeah.
I love that so much.
One of the things that we really talk about is isolation and
Oh
what
yeah.
that means with seniors and the health effects of
Yeah.
isolation. It really exacerbates everything, whether it's high blood pressure or diabetes, whatever you have, the
Mhm.
isolation makes it completely worse. And we've seen a study where senior isolation is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day from a health standpoint. So that is, just that interaction itself, just the, hey, how are
Wow.
you doing today? What can we do for you type of thing really has made a big difference in seniors' lives.
That's incredible. I love that. So, do you often stay, once a senior enters your program, are
Mhm.
they there for as long as many years as they need?
Absolutely. So what we don't charge anything for any of the services that we offer. It's not based on income, it's based on need. So if you're a homebound senior and you're 60 plus and you live in our area, then we can probably get you on the program. And it's as long as you need it. I would love to say that, maybe our seniors get better and they don't need it, but, we have seniors that have been on it for 10, 20 years at some point. Unfortunately, the nature of what we do, we have a lot of our seniors that would leave the program as well for various reasons, but, it's always something that we want to keep them on as long as possible, because what it's shown is that it keeps our seniors in their homes longer. If they're getting just this one meal, just this one healthy meal a day, really helps them to stay at home and what we want to say age in place, which is much better than aging in a nursing home or going to the hospital all the time. So it really is, from a financial standpoint or a fiscal standpoint, it's very beneficial for society as a whole, to keep our seniors at home where they want to be, as long as possible.
Yeah, I love what you said, that it's not based on their finances, because it truly, it does not matter how much money you have as a senior citizen. I mean, money does not give you connection, and money does not
Correct.
help you get out of the house. And you can't control those things as you get older. And so I think it's amazing that you guys do this for free and that you don't have that stipulation put on it. I think that's incredible.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so tell me some of the challenges that you guys have. What do you face doing this? What are your biggest hardships?
Well, I mean, obviously, in the last couple of years, there's been some funding issues, and we've had to react to that. We thought last year we were going to have to lower the number of meals we're serving, but due to the community stepping up and corporate partners stepping up, we didn't have to do that. So that's great news. We don't have a wait list. We've never had a wait list. So we're going to keep that. So that's always a challenge. The funding's always a challenge. But I would say even more for us is, if you think about seniors, they don't ask for help a lot. They're very, they don't want to self-identify as needy. So what we'll do is, so I think my challenge right now, and one thing I'm trying to do is really, stop being reactive, stop waiting on seniors to come to us. And we're trying to figure out a way to go out and find the seniors that need us, through various, marketing things and that sort. But it's really that, they're invisible sometimes. If you think about seniors, they don't ask for a lot of help. They don't want to be a burden on anyone. They're always, and I hear it all the time, say, "Oh, well, somebody needs it more than I do, so I'll not take it." So it's really, that I would say is my biggest challenge right now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's so true. I've seen that even with like my own grandparents. They just don't want to ask for help. They don't want to
Right.
acknowledge that they need help, or even that help could just be something that could make their day a little brighter, like just
Right.
having that person come and visit them. They don't want to be a burden. They don't want to cause any trouble. And
Hmm.
so I can imagine that that's a really hard barrier to break
It
through
is.
with some people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
so, if you're a nonprofit leader watching this, one thing that Doug mentioned is marketing, and that is something that Accordis can help you with. If you're trying to figure out the best way to market what your organization is doing, so that you can reach the population that you need to reach, or so that you can gain support and volunteers, we are here to help you do that, and we would love to. So, our website will be at the end of the show, and you can visit it, check us out, and if you think, hey, I could really use those services so that I can take something off my plate and really focus on the vision and the mission of our organization, we would be happy to help you. So let's talk about the future. I mean, obviously you guys have been doing this for years and years and years. This program has been around for a long time. What does the future look like? Do you see any changes, or is it something that runs pretty steady?
I mean, I think the old adage that if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same results is very true. And that really applies to us as well. So I'm trying, and to piggyback on what you were just saying, I'm trying to be more proactive instead of reactive, so that we can make sure that we're serving as many seniors as we can. Now, our county that we're based in Fort Bend County, is about to go over 1 million people. And if you think about how many seniors are, if seniors are 15, 16% of the population, there's a lot of seniors out there that need our help. So, that marketing piece and those types of community outreach is really what I'm trying to do. So that is very important. And this year, I really started something I called Operation Offense. So I'm really tired of playing defense. I want to play offense. So I am looking at, marketing. I'm looking at, how do we make our website better? How I have a dedicated social media coordinator now who covers all of our channels, who looks at, the copy that we have, make sure everything looks the same, it's a consolidated message, and So I think that's something that we're doing a little bit different. Instead of just sitting here waiting on people to come to us, I want to go out and find more clients. So I would say don't just depend on what we've done in the past, because it may be okay, but for me, I want to be more than okay. I want to find all the seniors that need us, that don't know anything about us, even though we've been around for 50 plus years.
Right. I love that. I think that's incredible because it's really easy to get stuck in this cycle of doing the same thing over and over again and just not really knowing how to change anything. But to have that visionary mind of, I'm going to do this and I want to see more people being able to be reached by what we're doing
Right.
and having that proactive mindset. I think that's incredible. And I hope that you guys are able to reach every senior in your area because I think what you're doing is incredible. So, we talked a lot about really how people can get involved with you and help you with your mission. So, not only just the donation standpoint, but also how can they serve if they're in your area? And if they're not in your area, but they love what Meals on Wheels does, now that they understand that it's not just a meal, how can people get involved?
Well, I would say always donations is very helpful, but even that volunteer piece we talked about, we couldn't do what we do. We would have a massive wait list if we didn't have volunteers. Last year, our volunteers donated over 13,000 hours, and that equates to probably $450,000 of time. So, I mean, that's huge for us. And even if you're not in the area, Meals on Wheels is everywhere. Okay, so I would say even if you're in Seattle, look up your local Meals on Wheels. If this is something that you want to do, they're everywhere. You can go to Meals on Wheels America. That's kind of our national trade association. Put in your zip code and it's there. It'll show you the local Meals on Wheels. So I would say get involved wherever you're at. I mean, we would love to have you here if you're in our area for sure. Either volunteering or donating or supporting events. But something else is, kind of what we're doing today is, getting the word out. That's super important, that community outreach and, checking on your neighbors and seeing, hey, I know my neighbor is an elderly person. I wonder if he or she could use Meals on Wheels, and talk to people and let them know. And I guarantee you, wherever you're at, the Meals on Wheels in your area would love to hear from you and work with you if you want to do that from a volunteering or just getting the word out, helping in senior centers. That's a blast. I will have to say, if you come to one of our senior centers and help, especially on bingo day, oh my gosh, it's fun. So we love our bingo. And we also do, exercise classes, so, like chair aerobics, that type of thing to help, seniors so they don't fall, have falls and that type of thing. Art classes. So we like to have a lot of fun, and we want the seniors to know, especially that they're still cared for. These are the folks that built everything around us. These are the teachers, the firefighters, the mayors, the city council people that built this. And, I think it's on us to make sure that they're taken care of. So that's, just getting that word out. And one of the things I found end of last year when we had those really struggling with the funding is once we told the community, they responded. But if they don't know, then how can they respond? Or if they don't know we have these services for seniors, how can they respond? So that was really the genesis of kind of what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, guys, I want to encourage you because after I heard that, all of this, I knew that this was an organization that even I wanted to get involved with. And so I've been doing my own research on our local Meals and Wheels, and I would encourage you to do the same. So make sure we're going to put their specific website at the end of the show notes. But if you are not in their area, just search for your local Meals on Wheels and see how you can get involved. As far as I know, and what you've told me, this is not a huge commitment. You can commit to one day a week in delivering a meal. And
Correct.
so it doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes a little bit of your service, your servant's heart to feel the push to go and give back to your community. And so
Right.
please find a way to get involved, whether that be financially or volunteering. Check out their website, check out their social media pages. I know that they would love it.
Right.
And I know they would love to hear from you. And then also, if you know a senior that could use this service, make sure to reach out to them and tell them
Absolutely.
about it, whether
Correct.
that be family or
Yes.
friends or neighbors. let them know about
Please.
it. I know that they would love to serve anyone they
Yes.
can, as you've heard today. So,
Right.
Doug, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I know
Of
that
course.
everybody has learned so much. And again, I've already told you, but I love what you guys are doing. And I'm so
Thank you.
thankful that there are people out there taking care of our
Yes.
elderly. So, thank you
Yep.
for what you do.
Yeah, we're very blessed to do what we're able to do here, and like I said, I hope we find more and more seniors out there
Yeah.
that need our work. And I just can't stress that we don't want to wait on them to come to
I,
us. If we can
yes.
find them before it's the need is really bad, then that's even better.
Yep,
So, so
absolutely.
yes, so take volunteering is just a couple hours a week. You will love it, I promise. When you start delivering to seniors, you'll get
Yeah.
to know them and they get to know you. And it's a beautiful thing. I guarantee if you do it once, you'll want to do it again.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, it was great talking to you guys. Make sure you keep watching us. Tune in for our next nonprofit that we look to, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Brandy.